Hello and welcome to Talking Real on the Couch with the RCS team and their guests. Through shared conversations reflecting real topics and experiences, you will have the opportunity to broaden your knowledge and learn some great tips. So sit back and let's get started. Hi and welcome to Talking Real on the Couch. I'm Jo Brand and today I'm joined with our founder and director, Trevor Green. Thanks for joining me on the couch, Trevor.
Thanks for the invite.
I thought it'd be a great opportunity to have a chat about RCS and the disability sector as a whole.
Yep.
So my first thought is around what you think perhaps is the biggest struggle within this sector for people that are managing a disability.
Well, I think the biggest struggle is probably that there isn't enough understanding about what, when we talk about struggles with people with a disability, a lot of people try to group it, and they can only talk from the perspective that what is their experience. So if you've got someone who has a physical disability and they might find the biggest struggle for them is to have access.
Yep.
And so, but then there are other people who the biggest struggle may be about feeling part of or accepted in their community. It might just be a matter of they might have some mental health issues that are preventing them from being able to fully participate. So their biggest struggle would be feeling valued and as part of their community. So I think, and we've spoken about this before, but I think probably if we were trying to group it, is that the biggest struggle is for people to understand what each person's struggle is and to make sure that the response is appropriate to their needs. Because I think if we try and go from a let's sort everyone's needs by having an approach to go, we'll just make equality, I think it's too broad, and it doesn't actually pinpoint what's needed. So I think that's probably where people struggle the most.
I think too, like it's different, we talk about choice and control within the disability sector, but like you said, I think it goes that little bit further with it's really meeting the needs individually to people, because they are all different. And
I think it's our system kind of has traditionally been grouped, and we're supposed to, as providers, show the outcomes from in our reports. And there's ways that the government are saying, well, we want to know this area, this area, and this area. So that's how we've structured our services to our participants, as opposed to what the participants need. And even in the planning process, that's coming across, where the planners would sit down and say certain questions that direct the conversation.
That's right, because it is a difficult landscape to navigate, isn't it? It can be quite overwhelming at times.
I think so. But I think as long as the services are focused on true the participants' needs is first, and going, what is it that we can help you achieve? So without us being here, what wouldn't you be able to do, or what is it that you're wanting to do with our help? Because that's really what it's about, them progressing to make everyone as equal as possible in access and control and their choices.
So did you see a gap in the market, and that's what inspired you to start RCS?
There was a gap in the market, so it originally started as a labour hire service, and it was because I saw areas that weren't being fulfilled, but ultimately it was a little bit of desperation. So it was I wasn't getting the fulfillment in my work roles, and I talked to a number of different places about what I was looking for that met what I thought was needed, but also what I needed. Because I think finding a job or an area of work that you are passionate about and you love, it doesn't become work. It's invigorating,
so true.
you know. So RCS was started because of that need, as well as the unmet need. Yeah. So I say desperation. Inspiration is probably better, right?
Yeah. And it is so rewarding when you're actually doing something that is purpose driven, and it gives you that sense of fulfillment at the end of the day. It's not work.
No.
Yeah.
I think if you can, there's parts of everyone's work that you don't enjoy. That's a given, but I think if there's more than 85% of the time you're enjoying it, I think you're on a winner.
I do too. And if we can talk about, Trevor, our values of RCS, and I guess how that blends with our point of difference as an organisation.
Well, our three values are diligence, respect, and innovation.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I think part of why I see those values as integral is because it's about how you feel and how you're perceived. The conduct generally. So if you look at what the meanings of those words and then apply them to your daily practices. So you look at the word diligence, and it's about being mindful in your actions and having an approach that's professional and structured, so that you're not leaving loose ends and you're focused. And respectful. It's about being respectful and showing respect, and it's how you approach people as well.
Your level of commitment.
Yep, that's right. And I think when you combine the diligence and respect, you've got a really good working environment, because you've got people who are passionate about what they're doing. They've got an approach to work, and they're mindful about others in the context of having respectful communications. And innovation is a word that's thrown around a lot, and I think to truly innovate is a difficult thing. It's about having an awareness of how things are done and having the ability to restructure the way it's done and have a different approach. And sometimes it can be disruptive sort of thing, and it can be better.
But that's often the best innovative way, isn't it? That disruption. It just stirs the pot of creativity and inspiration.
It is, and it is inspiring.
Yeah.
And innovation can also disrupt other industries or other people, because there's different ways of doing things that pushes the focus in a different area. But I like the idea and the concept of innovation, even from not a technology perspective, but about how we still approach our work, and as an organisation, and as we grow, to remain flexible and innovative towards the approach that we take towards our work. So
from service delivery right through.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And of course it does flow through to some technology sort of innovations, but that's what the three values are about. Yeah.
So then when it comes to our point of difference as an organisation, what would you say RCS's point of difference is?
Again, we've discussed this before.
Yes, and I actually really like the response to
it. So I think my perspective on innovation, like I said before, it's about having a different approach to things. And when I look at a point of difference, it's truly what stands out from everyone else. And I think that it's easy to say our point of difference could be our customer service, because that is something we focus on and we pride ourselves on. But so does everyone else.
Yes.
And I think that when I look at different places, when they say what's unique about them, I don't feel there's anything hugely unique. And Real Community Service has a lot of amazing people, and when I think of what's truly different about us, I think, well, there's nothing really that's outstanding as a company.
That nobody else is kind of doing.
That no one else is doing. So there's amazing services out there that provide disability support and community support and such. So I think someone like yourself who's you're sitting on the couch with me talking to me about the company, and your approach to things is unique, and how you feel about our participants and our staff is encouraging to me. So when you ask me the question, what's unique and point of difference, it's you. You know, it's every employee we've got who works for us is they aren't anywhere else, and I feel that's really our strength and our point of difference as well.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that fosters a really good culture, workplace culture too. So if I asked what our culture is like, for you to explain that to everyone that's kind of watching, because I know myself, I've worked at a variety of different organisations, and and the culture is often different, but I think it starts from the top and filters down. So the values, obviously. What do you think creates an amazing culture? Because I know we definitely have it at RCS.
I think it comes back to those values. But I also think there's I feel a great degree of gratitude and humble for the ability to be able to do what I do, and work where I work. And I think that having that relatability to people, where it doesn't matter what position you're playing, everyone plays such an important role. And I think that filters in that culture of empathy and gratitude, and having the right values towards our approach to work. So valuing anyone, whoever's doing whatever the position is. No one's job's more important. Point in time, some things may be more important than others, but that's the task. That might be time critical. So in answer to your question, what's the culture? I think culture is a very difficult thing to describe. I think unless you're working day in and day out, you don't see or feel the true culture straight away. It's like going into a jazz club and you can hear the music and see the lights and the people dancing, and you can get the feel of it. Get the buzz. Wouldn't say it's the culture, because the jazz clubs are also the behind things going on in the background as well. So the show can look nice, the showpiece, but the behind the scenes is also should be just invigorating and supportive as what you see at the front of the house.
I really like that, and I'd like to actually express gratitude as well for working within an organisation that appreciates that. And I always use the philosophy with my team and all of my co-workers that I work with, that it's no different to the football field. They've got, every football team has a team captain, but when they're out playing on the field, you don't know who the captain is.
That's right.
The goal is to get that ball down one end to score, and I like that philosophy, and I know that we apply that here within RCS too. It's so important, I think, and I think just and that, I think it creates that value. So if you don't value my role, then I don't feel valued in my position, and I think that makes me want to contribute more, that you see the value in it. And it's I know what it's contributing to the greater outcome that we're looking for. That's right. Well, Trevor, I've got 5 questions, our 5 quick questions that we like to ask everyone that comes on the...
Is that it?
Yes, quick answers. So the first thing that comes to mind, so these questions we ask everybody that comes on the couch. So are you ready for the first one?
Okay, hit me.
Okay. What is your favourite food? So this is for everyone that was thinking about having Trevor over for dinner. This is what to make him.
So if I had to say what's for dinner time, I'll try and keep my answer as simple as possible, because my answers aren't generally straightforward. Okay, so there's I love all food. It doesn't matter what it is. Mostly all sorts of foods. And it depends on whether it's cold or it's hot, have I eaten. But I would say, if I was to say, okay, a favourite dessert would be baked caramel cheesecake.
Oh, wow.
So you have, and I like baking my own for my birthday. 'Cause I know how to make it right. And you have the biscuit base, and you just cook that caramel bit and put the layer of caramel on. Oh, it's lovely. Yeah. So
we'll look forward to that.
I'll bring the cheesecake.
Yeah.
You can cook the dinner, which could be lasagna.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be lasagna.
Yeah.
Or a salad.
Yep. Salad, something as
Or a
simple as
bacon
salad.
carbonara. Yep.
Nice.
Club sandwich.
We've got dinner and dessert. All right. So if you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
So it still would be, as always, my superpower is I want to acquire the ability to acquire more superpowers, because I get bored of the one superpower. So just to be able to fly is amazing, right?
Yes.
But then one day you go, well, I'd like to just be able to grab my coffee cup off the thing without moving. And that would be handy. So telekinesis would be my flavour of choice on that day.
No, what about visibility? I've always wanted to be able to go, can't see me now.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good, as long as people don't bump into you as well, because that would be awkward. And I'd have to think about its application and go, well, why would I want to be invisible? Is it just to remove myself from society for a while? Which would be nice. Yeah.
Oh, and what do you get up to in your spare time?
My spare time spent with, I like a lot of time by myself in my spare time. I like some downtime, just not talking to anyone.
Yeah.
I might not even have TV on if I'm at home, maybe music. I'd like to go exercise, yeah. I'd go outside to go for a walk or a jog or go to the gym, or
Yep.
time with family, that's important to me.
Yeah.
Time with the kids and see my family and such, so yeah.
Which leads me to the next question in regards to stress release. So how do you relieve stress? Because as you can appreciate, every role has its challenges, but I could appreciate in your capacity as well, you'd go through a lot of stressful days. So how do you manage that stress?
I think, I don't have a number of set techniques to use for stress relief. I think that what I tend to do is I'm shifting my perspective back to my having gratitude for just things around me. So it's easy to not remember the blue sky or whatever's outside at the time, and just feeling that, like the feeling you get when you go on holidays, or 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon if you're a Monday to Friday, and you step out and you go, oh, the world's out here. Yeah. And there's a greater perspective of what's important going on in the world than just my little world.
Yeah.
It's not diminishing sort of how important things are, but it does allow me some perspective to say, well, I should be grateful for the opportunity to have a difficult day, because some people don't get that. Or if it wasn't for this, what was great over here, I wouldn't have this problem. But then if I didn't have this problem, I wouldn't have the issue over here. So to relieve stress, I do tend to go, I think to myself, well, try and shift my mind first. And then, because I find that if I say I'll go for a jog, well, I can't go for a jog at 10 o'clock during the day when it's stressful.
Yep.
So I have to find something that works better. And I find if I'm very stressed and I'm going for a jog, then 30 minutes later I'm still thinking about the issue, and the song's not gone through my head yet. But I'm running to, yeah. So it sounds a bit flimsy when I say having gratitude.
I understand that. Yeah.
I really do try and practice that a lot during the day and afternoon. Yeah, just being grateful for life's great.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
So if you had to give one motivational piece of advice to anybody about living the best life that they could possibly live, what would it be?
I would say to be having gratitude. I really would. Yeah. I found it's made a huge difference to me. It's that perspective and that gratitude, no matter how bad things are or how good things are, because when things are great, you can forget the things that you've stumbled over and fell over and along the way.
Do you find with gratitude, because I'm a big one for gratitude too, that you can't just go from that stressful moment into thinking, it's okay, I'm grateful for this. There's steps that lead up to that, I guess, to being present in the moment before you get to that gratitude.
Yeah. I think a lot of industries, particularly in mining, they have like a step back. There's a process that you go through before stepping onto a work site, and it's it's like a 1, 2, 3 step. So it's kind of engaging your brain to recognizing that you're tense or you're stressed or you're anxious, and that's leading to you displaying certain behaviours, or your heart rate might be going faster. So recognizing that, and then that's probably the first step. Is it's a bit like you can't make change unless you know what it is you need to change and do differently. So taking a step back first is probably the first thing, and then having that ability to switch your gear and go make a decision to change. And that's not doable in all situations, because if you look at something where someone's depressed, you can't just tell someone, well, think better.
Yep.
Doesn't work like that.
Step back.
Doesn't work back.
Yeah.
So there's certain things it doesn't work for, but I think when all things are going well from your mental health and stuff is on track, then it works really well.
But even using it as a daily practice, yes. I know myself, every hour and a half, I step out.
Yep.
And detach from the last hour and a half, and look at things from a less emotional or reactive perspective.
Yep.
And I find that works, and that puts me into that more of a gratitude kind of space of appreciating what's to come even. Yeah.
I think as well, when you're stepping back and you're not absent, but you can still be in the seat and take a step back.
Yes.
And when you reapply yourself, you've got more of a focus.
That's
you've got
right.
more of an intent in your actions, and they're a bit more targeted.
Yes.
So you can take control of your emotion, and then take more control of the situation and your ability to work for.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, thank you for answering those quick 5 questions, but I do have a 6th.
Okay.
And I want to share it with our viewers. Trevor, is it true that you do not like Post-it notes?
Absolutely.
And can you tell us why?
It's not a deep-seated hatred. I think the practice of Post-it notes is and they're fine, they do work. But from my perspective, there's other systems available that can work just as well, and the humble Post-it note can have an issue from a variety of areas.
Yes.
This is too deep for most people at this time of the day, whatever time they're listening to it, right? I'm sorry for this, people. But the Post-it notes where you get the glue from, the use of the paper that just gets thrown away, in an office environment, we've got people's names and phone numbers on the Post-it note. That's confidential. The privacy is going out the window. And I remember many years ago, we had an audit, not at Real Community Services, but another company, and there was Post-it notes everywhere. There was, I don't know if it was a culture, but it was ingrained that Post-it notes were up there, and they got a non-conformity because there was Post-it notes and it had people's names on there, and because that office was a plan where people were able to go past that cubicle, they got breached on it. So I've just kind of transitioned to, we've got computers, we've got a notepad, you can go back and see your notes. Otherwise, it's just scrump it up, throw it in the bin, and chopping down more trees.
Love it. I had to clarify that.
Yeah.
For all of it.
For everyone.
Thank you for joining us on the couch and sharing our values with our community, and for everyone to get to know our director a little bit more through our questions.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's it for us today, and we look forward to you joining us next week on the couch. That's it. Thanks for joining us on the couch. We would love to hear any questions or feedback you have, and remember to like and share these episodes too. We look forward to seeing you next week for more laughs and great conversations.